didn't fuck a couch, bro. We read that whole book. He did not. He did not fuck a couch.
Did he
I know
write the
some people-
book? Did he write the book?
I believe he did.
Then of course he left that part out. Total cap. He fucked that couch. Appalachians don't fuck their sisters.
They fucked their cousins?
It's legal in that state, though.
First?
Giuliani did
Oh,
it.
shit.
Giuliani married his first cousin.
Hey.
Did y'all see the photo of J.D. Vance in drag in college? What? Hold on. AI can't do hands. His hands are too perfect and soft. So soft.
Those hands ain't supplely soft.
Look at those hands. They're so soft.
You think, I won't ask what party affiliation, but you think your wife is voting in this upcoming election? I just want a yes or no. That's it. For content.
Of course she is.
Of course.
Of course she is going to be
And if I were to make a prompt to switch who she'd vote for, would that be funny enough content?
I mean, it'd be funny, yeah.
It would be funny.
I mean, who you think she's voting for? You don't even know who she's voting for yet.
Well, I know that Sassy's got some Native American in her, and I think she just relates to Miss Harris a little more.
Okay, first of all, she doesn't have any Native American in her. I have Native
I
American
know.
in me. She's black, and between the hours of 1 a.m. and 2 a.m., she's usually has some white in her. But other than that,
Oh,
she's
shit.
100% black.
250% black. I'm 101% black with a 2% margin of error? Oh, Lord, no.
Oh, no!
What are you supposed to... Oh, shit.
But she also, and I'm not telling you who she's voting for yet, but, you know, she's also, she may be black, but she also notoriously hates other women. So, yeah,
Oh.
you know, there's that.
Do you think someone grabbing another woman by the pussy by chance could make her vote for them more?
I guess it would depend on who is grabbing who by said pussy.
Okay.
She seems to be fine when I do it, but, you know, I can't speak for other people.
Yeah, yep.
What's up, Greek?
Yo, Greek.
So, you know, it
Got those euros.
could go either way. Part of me wants to vote for Trump just to see how crazy it'll get.
I don't want...
Just to see how
I
crazy.
will. Chat 2024. I'm doing it. I'm voting red.
You're voting
I'll say
red.
it. I'm voting red.
What's the logic behind it? I got to hear the logic. Why would
the
you do
logic
this?
behind it? I'm a Midwestern white man, and I somehow relate to a billionaire more than Kamala Harris, a Democrat in California. I'd rather vote for a billionaire that was born in New York
Okay,
than
yeah.
a Democrat from
but
California.
None of that told me why.
All right, let me think. Kind of everything I hated about the Democrats was Joe Biden.
Yeah,
Like
that's gone now.
When Donald Trump quoted the switch up as like kind of fucking him over. Yeah, kind of.
I think
have
a
you seen,
sassy black woman is just what this country needs.
What
I got
machine
one.
said?
I got one. Oh, she can be sassy. There's some clips. It's in
can
her.
be mouthy,
I promise
but
it's in
not
her.
sassy.
She might keep it in check on camera, but it's there. And every black woman has that ability to snap and let it out. Okay? Even as well spoken and as nice as my wife is, it happens. Okay? And I think a sassy black woman is just what America needs. I can tell you from experience, I got a sassy black woman. It made my life better. So, you know, I just want to share that with the rest of you guys.
Also, I read J.D. Vance's book, Hillbilly Elegy, in school, so that makes it more like I want to vote for him. I actually think that kind of helps the Trump train a little bit.
I was going to say, is he the guy that dropped the bear carcass? No, but that wasn't J.D. Vance. That was the dude with the brain worms.
And he didn't fuck a couch, bro. We read that whole book. He did not. He did not fuck a couch.
Did he
I know
write the
some people-
book? Did he write the
Did he?
book?
I believe he did.
Then of course he left that part out. Total cap. He fucked that couch.
Bro, he did not fuck. What source said he fucked the couch is dead? Meemaw came back.
I talked to the couch, dude. Okay, I got
a. I didn't know the couch's feelings like that.
Right. Damn.
I talked to the couch, okay? I got first-hand testimony from the couch. It was like the couch from Pee Wee Herman. It started flapping its cushions and just letting it all out, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's what you're voting for. That couch fucker.
I just don't. Maybe all Americans have thought about fucking a couch once in a while.
I can honestly say that has never crossed my mind. I've thought about fucking a lot of things, but never a couch.
I think he was just trying to be more relatable to the Appalachian community.
Appalachian community. How? How is that more relatable? Are you saying the Appalachian community fucks their couches? Is that what you're saying?
I was just going to say their sisters, but if you're saying couches, that's probably better for them.
Yeah. Appalachians don't fuck their sisters.
They fuck their cousins?
It's legal in that state, though.
First?
Giuliani did it.
Shit.
Giuliani married his first cousin.
Yeah, but Giuliani's a geriatric. My grandma had her first kid at 14.
He married his cousin when he was in his 30s.
Well, now that's not...
Your geriatric argument doesn't fly.
Shitty Mike Wolf Waffle. Let's go.
Whoa, shitty Mike Wolf Waffle on deck.
On deck.
Did y'all see the photo of JD Vance in drag in college? What? Hold on.
Oh, he got pranked hard.
Oh, no. You can't scream that that's a prank, dude. I gotta see this
got
now.
pranked in college. What do you mean?
JD Vance in drag. We're looking this up. Oh my God. It's real. That's not a prank, dude. He is wide awake and standing there willingly in drag. I would understand it was a prank if, okay, was he passed out and someone dressed him up? Nope, this dude is, he's standing up. He is in drag. JD Vance dressed in drag. JD Vance's campaign won't deny that's him in drag in a viral photo.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's very real. Can I save this picture? Here, I'll throw it up in Discord. Let's save image. Ooh, no. I don't want that. File format. What is this file format? Here, we'll do it this way. There we go. Let's save it that way. Okay. Alright, I'm throwing this up. In funny shite. Here you go. Here's the guy you're voting for, Chase. Okay, here's the guy who didn't fuck a couch. Tell me this man didn't fuck a couch. Okay, there it is in funny shite. Tell me that man didn't fuck a couch.
It's okay, bro. This picture is
wearing a wig and a skirt.
Yeah, this picture's disgusting, though. So even with JD Vance with that, bro, that's still nastier.
Hey, Kamala kept her gender in that picture, sir.
Really? Kamala looks like a grown-ass fucking man.
There is a difference. There's a difference between...
Oh, my God.
There's a difference
She's sucking helium every morning when she wakes up so she don't sound like a fucking man.
Oh, my God. I can...
If Kamala gets into the White House, they're going to make a movie Medea in the White House,
I can smell the copium from here.
I just don't think that's real, bro.
What do you mean you don't think it's real? What do you mean you don't think it's real?
Some random Twitter account, but the same with the couch fucking, bro.
Okay.
Like this is some QAnon shit right
Don't
here.
worry, I'm sure JD Vance will write a book about how he's not a drag queen, and then that'll make it true because he wrote it in a book.
You don't think they could have just done the AI JD Vance fucking? They could have.
AI can't do hands. His hands are too perfect and soft. So soft.
Those hands ain't supplely soft.
Look at those hands, they're so soft.
I'm gonna go check CNN and see if they're posting on it. Cause we'll see if that
News Network.
Yeah, Cuck News Network.
Level 13. I gotta be level 13. What level am I now? I'm level 12, so I got one more level. All right. Well.
The Hindustan Times, the Daily Beast, and Yahoo News. Holy shit, bro.
Yahoo News? Oh no!
These are the most. I'm
Hey,
surprised.
hey! Yahoo News has been vetted. Okay, you don't stay around that long on fake news unless you're the Onion.
Yahoo News UK. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly. It's from the UK. Okay, those Brits don't have any reason to lie. They don't have a dog in this race.
Yes, they fucking do.
Checkmate, atheist. Oh. Damn it! I can't do anything with this. Painted metal? Can we? Let's do alloy metal. Nope. Yeah, alloy metal. Okay, that's better. Hooligan, hardened, buttressed. Make that a little stronger. Trying my best to make my reinforced combat armor. It's a little better. Trying my best to make my armor better in this game, because goddamn, is it? This is way harder. This game is way harder than like base fucking Fallout 4. Studded? Shadowed. Studded. Make it pocketed. Studded leather. Studded pocketed. Alright, there we go. That makes... gives me a little more. Okay. And let's go back outside so I can fast travel. Wait, where's my companion? Where's my dog? I gotta go get my dog. I've left my dog behind.
One day, I'll take my family to see the surface.
Oh my fucking god.
Let me say this. If American men don't come out and vote against Kamala, there'll never be a man back in the White House. I swear to fucking God. If one woman gets
Of course
in,
there will.
like what LBJ said, there'll never be a man again.
There's already been a woman in the White House.
Fuck that. As a vice president?
No, as a president.
Now.
Wait, was Bush not trans?
Feel like I'm debating Bill Burr right now.
Wait,
bro.
was Bush
The
not
odds,
trans?
H3H3.
Was Bush not trans? I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Was Bush not? His Bush might have made you think otherwise, but no, he was not trans.
Come on, his vice president was Dick. I mean, what more proof do you need? He willingly.
Dick Cheney had the balls to shoot somebody in the face and apologize.
He
about it.
willingly chose Dick as his vice president. That's a woman move.
Yeah, our representative here is Tracy Mann. Let that sink in. Dude's compensating for something.
It'll
Yeah.
be fine. We'll have 4 years of a woman, and it'll be fine.
I don't understand how people like this play video games.
How people like who?
They just have no, like, concept of how to aim. It's like, holy crap.
Wait, what are you
I
watching?
can't believe Joe Biden got bullied out like that.
I'm playing Valorant.
Oh, well, that's
Oh,
why
that-
you're playing Valorant. That's that.
Yeah, no, but like,
That's that game
these
the
people
chicks
literally
play.
just can't do anything.
Yeah, that's a girl game. That's the game the girls play.
That is a very weak argument. I'm gonna ignore it because I don't care.
Honestly, it's the same arguments I've been throwing at Death
But is
Wish,
it-
so it's just as valid.
But is
bro.
it not true? Do I need to pull up
It
Twitch?
is so true.
Do I need to pull up
saying that-
Valorant on Twitch?
It's a girly game.
It's the game the girls play. They all gravitated towards that game for some reason.
Their menstrual cycles synced up.
I saw a meme in my head of like all of them sitting on bloody pads going, we should play Valorant. We should play like at the same time. The stars aligned. Oh. What it said? Did the dog not come back to the food factory? I thought it said the dog came back to the food factory, but there's no dog here. Where my dog? Where my dog?
You have to be insane to take on the top.
Alright, when I'm high, I need to use the Phantom. The AK too crazy. I gotta like click like it's PC if I want to use the goddamn.
That's what you gotta do.
What you gotta do?
Do what you gotta do, homie. I'll check inside the food factory. It said my dog should have came back here, but I don't see my dog. I miss my dog. You talking about Hillary Clinton when she tried to run? No, we're talking about Kamala. Clinton was never going to win, but Kamala's got a pretty decent shot.
You think so? That prison shit she did
I can tell
back
you
in California?
the exact moment I knew Hillary was going to lose.
When everybody thought she was gonna win.
When she told people to Pokemon go to the polls.
Oh,
No, that's it. It's done. You're out. We can't. I can't unhear that. So now I can't vote for you. That's it. You're done. You're cooked. She showed her age.
Pokemon go to the polls. Never ever forget it.
That's crazy. Not the
That was the
Schmo-Yo-Ho
moment
month.
she lost.
Oh yeah. Bro.
That was the moment it was all over. Where's my dog?
Dude, I'm telling you, this has got to be retaliation for fucking Elon Musk's fake news shit he posted on Twitter, bro.
That's
It's
all.
been 11 hours since it came out on Twitter, bro. It just can't be real. Or there's got to be a decent explanation for this.
A decent explanation. Wow, you're on some hardcore cope here, Chase.
Yeah, bro. What
Said
if he dressed as Margaret
didn't
Thatcher?
do it, they
Okay,
were gonna beat him up.
First of all, that's not Margaret Thatcher. Second of all, if he didn't do it, they were gonna beat him up. So now not only is he a drag queen, but he's a pussy?
He's also a pussy. Yeah. You
Yeah,
can't go for
that's
that.
bad.
I
That's
don't
worse.
know. I'd rather him be a drag than a pussy, bro. So no, he will not say he would have got threatened to be beat up. No.
I think he did. I think
They
that's
were
exactly
gonna
what
beat-
happened.
They were gonna
I think all of our politicians are pussies. That's why
but
they're
they
politicians.
were gonna beat me up.
He served in the military, right? He was not a fucking pussy, even though his own.
Yeah, after that moment, you know, he said, "Hey,
I'm a pussy.
First of
I'm not
all,
gonna be a pussy.
serving in the military doesn't mean you're not a pussy. There are a lot of jobs in the military that don't require you to see any bit of combat. There's a lot of pussies in the military.
Well,
That's
you're
real.
always a rifleman first. If they need you, they'll ship your ass there.
Yeah, but they're not sending those
You might
pussies. to the
sign
front
up as a mess cook. It was the same with my teacher, Massey. He was joining up as a Humvee mechanic, and they sent his ass straight to Somalia as a rifleman. He was there when Black Hawk Down happened in Mogadishu.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but most of the time it doesn't happen. You're a mess hall cook. You're a mess hall cook for your 4-year tour,
And that's all
then you're-
bitch, bro.
Yep. Or
Well,
now
I'm doing
you're
11B.
or now you're one of the nerds that works the joystick that runs the drone, and you sit in a little room by yourself.
Yeah, bro. Drones is the most pussiest shit we ever came up with, bro. I'm sorry. Just he got 5 Taliban soldiers that have been marching out in the desert for 5 days, covering land, trying to get an ambush. Drone flies up. Oh, idiots!
dumb.
Bomb attached.
That is the
What a waste
dopest
of
shit.
time.
That is the dopest shit ever. This is why the Second
Thanks for
Amendment
trying.
argument. This is why the Second Amendment argument is so goddamn stupid. It's my Second Amendment right to have a rifle. It says that we need to form militia in case we have to rebel against it fight back against tyrannical government, blah, blah, blah. I need this for my protection. Okay, so if the civil war were to break out, it'd be you versus the government. What do you got? I got an AR-15. I got 2 Smith & Wessons. Okay, and I got a shotgun. And how confident are you that you guys can win? 1,000,000%. And then they pan over to the military, and there's one dude sitting by himself in a room, and he's like, I got a Predator drone. It's got 4 Hellfire missiles, night vision, and a high-powered lens. Has the war started? Like, are we good to go? You're good to go, so okay. So I just press this button.
My beer.
So I just press this button right here. See, I press this button, and they're all dead. Like, that's how it's gonna go. Your fucking guns don't do shit. They just nerd in a room presses button, entire NRA goes. They can fucking kill you from space. Shut up. You're gonna
Hey, that's just American greatness right there. We can kill motherfuckers from space.
Yep. So there's no reason for you to, the Second Amendment. I'm sorry, it just no longer applies anymore. That amendment was written back in the time when we had to load our guns 1 bullet at a time with a giant stick, with a giant, the military.
Oh, well, first of all,
Oof.
no, man, fuck the government. They after 1987, can you believe my homeboy Ronald Reagan said Americans can't have automatic weapons, bro? What a fucking pussy. Like, if I want a fucking 50 cal machine gun in the back of my truck, why the fuck not? I can just get drone striked. It don't fucking matter.
Yeah,
Let me go around town.
There is no civil war to be had. There's no civil war. There is no universe in which we will have another civil war.
But if somebody invades America, we'll be ready for them.
Yeah, I mean, other countries are going to be fucked. But on the flip side of that is if we ever did decide that we were going to try to take over the government and have a civil war like back in the day, even if 70% of the citizens rose up against the government and we outnumbered them, they have tanks and drones and nukes and things that we don't have in our houses. You still lose.
Okay.
There's no universe in which you win.
70% of the people. Now, if you said like 20% of the radical Republicans rose up, not a chance. But 70% of Americans said this government is tyrannical. Fuck them. I feel like the entire world would back this people, not the government.
No, here's how it would play out. Other countries wouldn't intervene at first unless it got too out of hand. And it wouldn't get too out of hand because 70% of the people, there's riots in the streets, they're trying to take over. The government finally has enough and goes, we don't have to kill all 70% of them. We'll just kill 20% of that 70%. Yeah, just to make a point and scare the rest of them into stopping. And that's what would happen. The government would launch one strike, scare the shit out of everybody, and then they'd stop. And that'd be it. It would just be a civil war over. They'd all fall right back in line. That's how that would happen. That's how that would happen. That's
when Hitler bombed London, bro, every single British person ever said, fuck you, you Nazi piece of shit, we'll never give up.
Yeah,
they were about ready to throw in the towel.
Yeah, he didn't have
bomb and raid.
Yeah, he didn't have the shit that we have now. Like, he doesn't we don't even need an army to fight an army now. We can do it with drones and...
Yeah, but then again, we lost.
We can do it with technology.
Afghanistan for 20 years. I'm not saying
America
is the same as Afghanistan.
We didn't lose, though.
Oh, you don't think so? You don't think so, motherfucker? Dude, don't even bullshit me. We did lose. We killed Osama bin Laden and then sat on our asses for another 10 years there. That's an L. When we're spending trillions of dollars, that's an L. And then we left $86 billion worth of military equipment. That's an L. Whatever objectives you want to talk about. We tried to nation build. L, bro. That lost. That was a total failure.
Not a total failure. You are confusing the word. You're confusing the term loss with strategic retreat.
Oh, yeah.
We gave it. First of all, if destroying Afghanistan and quote-unquote winning was what we really wanted to do, that's a touch of a button. That's it. That's a touch of a button. We could do it.
When we made the National Afghani Army to stand up against the Taliban, that we spent trillions of dollars building an infrastructure, establishing American policies to send women back to school, setting up all this freedom of speech shit. And then we leave with our tactical retreat, and that all fails. They all surrender. Massive pussies. That ain't a failure.
No, because that's not.
No, you don't think so?
That's not what we were there for.
No.
No, that's not what we were
Why
there
we
for.
stayed so long?
We got what we came for.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
We went for Osama bin Laden, and then we stayed there and got more than we came for, and we failed. We didn't get no oil.
We
from
were
them.
there for diplomatic.
We didn't get no opium
It's
from
not
them.
about the oil. We were there.
Diplomatic?
We were there for diplomatic relations.
No.
We were
What are you
there.
talking
We were
about?
there.
Dude, just stop that,
we were
bro.
there for diplomatic
No, we weren't.
relations, and we got them. Not with
Stop.
Afghanistan, but with other countries. We made new allies during that time.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we
What
absolutely
allies
did.
we
We
got?
absolutely did. We
No,
absolutely
we
did.
got tense relations with the Pakistanis. Iran
got-
has gone.
yep.
Iran's gone to shit. Iraq's a shithole now. Oh, the Saudis are still with us. I don't know. Israel's now a shit. We didn't make shit.
We made
What are you
allies
talking
during
about?
that time.
The NATO?
New laws were even passed with NATO. No, yeah, like we
the 2%
enacted the change that we were there to enact. Not all of it. I'll give it to you. Not all of it, but total failure, loss. No,
Other than killing Osama bin Laden, what grand strategy did we achieve by going to Afghanistan?
did I not just tell you?
No, you said we gained new allies? Which ones? What laws did we pass? Nothing. It didn't matter. It was incomprehensible. We were made pariahs by the European community. Nothing there
Where
was
are
a
you
gain.
getting? Where are you getting this information? Cite me something.
Cite you something? All right, you haven't cited me anything. You cite me something. You said it was a win. I said it was an L. You can just Google how much military equipment we lost.
All right.
there.
First of all, couple things. I'll get you something here in a second. It's gonna take me a minute to look it up, but I remember these things happening. I'm a lot older than you. Second of all, you're an American, a red-blooded American, so surely you understand that the burden of proof rests on the accuser. You're accusing us of being pussies that lost. Prove it.
Give me a second.
Yeah, that's how that works. All right.
That's trash. NBC might be better.
I mean, I'm going to government
Not really.
websites themselves, but you can use news outlets, I guess, if you want. All right, let's see.
2 years later, the federal budget impact of the disastrous Afghanistan withdrawal.
All right. Okay, so things done during that time frame. In 2012, the United States and Afghanistan concluded a strategic partnership agreement to strengthen their relationships, support Afghanistan capabilities as partners, and improve the
So
lives
you
of
tell
Afghan
me
people.
right now what is still upholding in 2024.
On February 29th.
you-
I'm getting there. There's more. Patience, son. Patience. On February 29th, 2020, the United States and the Taliban signed the Doha Agreement, which led to August 2021 withdrawal of the U.S. and the Allied forces from Afghanistan since the forcible takeover by the Taliban in 2021, culminating in the fall of Kabul on August 15th. The United States has shifted its position of pragmatic engagement in Afghanistan. So, agreements were signed. The Taliban is no longer a threat. And they didn't get everything that they wanted. But we did have to withdraw as part of that agreement. That's why we withdrew. We got the guy that we went there to get. They got the guy that they wanted. An agreement was signed, treaty was struck, and a threat was mostly eliminated.
So
Ain't flying.
13 servicemen were killed in that withdrawal by a suicide bomber. $7 billion worth of military equipment remained in Taliban hands. That is just the bottom line. I wish I could get some actual facts from the government on this. Special Inspectors General of Afghanistan Reconstruction. Dude, Jesus, that's ancient, bro.
The Doha Agreement.
Dog shit.
The Doha Agreement memorialized the United States' commitment to withdraw its forces from Afghanistan, as well as commitments from the Taliban to prevent any group or individual, including Al-Qaeda, from using the soil of Afghanistan to threaten the security of the United States and its allies, as well as a pledge by the Taliban to engage in intra-Afghani negotiations with other Afghan groups to form a post-settlement government. So our withdrawal led to a new form of government in Afghanistan that made them safer and made the Taliban less of a threat and pretty much eliminated Al-Qaeda. The entire reason we went over there to begin with. How the fuck does that equal a loss?
So the Mujahideen, all those fucking tribals, still...
To this day, the United States continues to engage with the Taliban to ensure they fully abide by these commitments. So we've suppressed the Taliban, got rid of Al-Qaeda, and established governmental relations between the Taliban and Afghanistan.
Wait, how the fuck can you say... If
So that's what happened.
In charge of Afghanistan.
They're not in charge.
They're
not in charge. The Taliban was to engage in an intra-Afghani negotiations with Afghan groups. They're working with the Afghans. It is a shared government. They are not solely in charge. That was the point. That's what that means. That was the diplomatic solution.
Council on Foreign Relations. This ain't no council or real shit. Jesus.
This is directly from the government's website, where they've released all these documents outlining.
I'm sure after Joe Biden, they really went over it. They're like, wow, we did real good here.
So when proven
the
wrong,
Taliban are predominantly the Quds Islamic fundamentalist group that have returned to power in Afghanistan in 2011 after waging a 20-year insurgency war.
Right, they were in power.
The Taliban maintains close ties with Al-Qaeda.
So they were in power. Now they share that power with Afghani groups and the Afghan government.
Under their harsh rule, they have cracked down on women's rights and neglected basic services.
That's all outdated information. That, as of August 2021, is no longer the case.
January 19th, 2023.
Where is that? Let me see this.
This is the Council on Foreign Relations. Let me finish reading this, and I'll let you know if it's retarded or not.
What is the Council on Foreign Relations?
That's 1990.
What's this?
Down more.
What's this website? Is this like an opinion piece, or is this like actual government documents? Because I'm reading government documents here. I'm not reading a news outlet.
Is there the government website of the Taliban, so I can go see their actual committees of parties that joined up to form the Afghani government? Or are we just going to say, hey, America pulled out and we lost 13 servicemen and over $7 billion worth of equipment, but we signed an agreement with the Taliban, and we know what they've done, and we know they're Islamic fundamentalists, and we've seen what they do over and over again. But that's what we.
By the way, the equipment was not a total loss. By the way, we had an agreement with the Afghanistan people to provide them with $775 million in assistance as of July 2022. The equipment left behind was factored into that assistance, so we didn't have to send them anything extra. It was left for them, basically.
5.9 billion, not bad. Fuck. Just $100K for me and Death Witch, and I think that'll do enough for our Afghani relief funds. That's all we'll need. We'll just take a little sliver of that. Afghanistan Democratic Democratic. Yes. I don't know if Freedom House would be the article. Well, where the fuck's the Taliban government? Let's hear what they got to say. We're all good. We're all great.
We also established voting rights for Afghanistan with the United Nations as part of that. The United Nations now recognizes Afghanistan voting rights in the UN General Assembly. They now have a voice in the United Nations on top of that. Again, this is what diplomatic solutions look like. They aren't flashy, but goals are accomplished with minimal bloodshed. We didn't have to go to, we were able to end a war and accomplish goals. Everybody didn't get everything that they wanted, so I'll give it to you. I wouldn't call it a total victory, but it's not a loss, not by any stretch of the imagination. But, I'm not a political pundit here. I'm just a guy who lived through it and remembered why we were there, remembered what happened. I
remember my mom telling me about us killing Osama bin Laden in 2012.
Yeah, I didn't have to remember anyone telling me about it. I remember 9/11. I remember watching that happen. I remember the day America stood still. I was in high school at the time. Watched it happen. I remember at least 6 of my close personal friends signing up with the recruiter that day. Like, the recruit numbers went over the charts, and I remember why we were there. I remember the way everyone felt at the time. I remember what our goals were. And we accomplished most all of them. Al-Qaeda's not a threat anymore.
And they just keep on talking about this Taliban rule, and they just don't bring up the democracy. It's like, okay, I'm glad they're ruling. It's like, where's their democracy?
But they're not. Yeah, but they're not ruling alone. I don't know what you're reading. I don't know if that's an opinion piece or what.
Every single article, I got the crisis group, international crisis group, so not an opinion piece. The Council on Foreign Relations. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
is there a UN tribunal on this?
I'm reading all of the documents that were released as part of that withdrawal. So I'm reading like what actually led to the withdrawal. I'm reading, the documents themselves. I'm not having someone interpret them for me. It's not like someone reporting on
United Nations.
I'm reading them myself.
Security Council emphasizes that punitive restrictions on women's rights, escalating hunger, insecurity, taking devastating tolls in Afghanistan. Afghanistan under the Taliban remains the most repressive country in the world for women's rights. The senior United Nations
Their country, right. Their country, not Afghanistan. They aren't doing that in Afghanistan anymore. So you understand?
This is the United Nations talking
No.
Afghanistan.
No. Like, you understand, the Taliban have their own little section. They don't have all of Afghanistan anymore. That's part of the agreement. They share space, but they don't get total control. It's fragmented now. That's why what you just read specifically said the Taliban and not Afghanistan. What you just read me specifically said Taliban. The Taliban remain blah blah blah. It didn't say Afghanistan. It said the Taliban. There is a distinction there.
Okay, this is Human Rights Watch. We went through, what was it, the fucking United Security Councils. Like, I honestly think the human rights situation in Afghanistan continues to deteriorate in 2023. as the Taliban committed widespread human rights violations, particularly against women and girls. Afghanistan remained the only country where women and girls could not access secondary and higher education and were banned from most employment with international non-governmental organizations. Except in healthcare, nutrition, and primary education. Well, that's good, with the United Nations. Women also face significant barriers to freedom of movement and speech. Human Rights Watch has concluded that the patterns of abuse against women and girls in Afghanistan amounts to the crime against humanity of gender persecution. The Taliban's authorities cracked down further on local media and freedom of speech, and increased arbitrary detentions of journalists, human rights defenders.
I can't speak to their people and their culture and how they fucking live. All I can say is the agreements keep them in check in ways that they weren't before. If you're expecting Afghanistan to suddenly turn into America where everybody has free speech and everybody's got equal rights, that's not happening. That's not happening with any form of the agreement.
Though,
and it's
with the Afghani government we set up,
but that wasn't the goal. And no, the one that we set up wasn't like that either. Neither Afghanistan nor the Taliban have ever really given women rights to begin with. So, like, that wasn't, even when we were there, that, like, there's only so much interfering that we could do. That's the part that we couldn't change. That's just part of their
I think that is so much bullshit.
Love it or hate
articles in school about that.
Love it or hate it. Love it or hate it.
I think that is bullshit.
Love it. Yeah, you can think it's bullshit. That's fine. Love it or hate it. That's their culture. That's their culture. In general, they don't have those freedoms for women. That's not a thing most Middle Eastern countries have. I got 2 guys that work with me right now, one of which is from Morocco. And when his wife comes to see him at work, she's dressed like a goddamn ninja. I can't see anything but her eyes. She don't have the same rights as our women do here because she's married to him. And he's from Morocco. So that's a cultural thing. We aren't going to make them change their culture. But we can keep them from trying to force their culture on other people outside their lines. That was part of the agreement, is, all right, well, you can't force your culture on other countries. You can't go flying planes in the building. Yeah, like, we can keep you from expanding. We can't, there's only so much we can do on your land without starting a war, because most countries, ours included, wouldn't take kindly to another country coming over, establishing a military outpost, and then telling you how to live your life. We wouldn't allow that either. But we can make some compromises to say, okay, well, we won't do that to people that visit. We won't do that to other countries. We won't try to expand. But within our borders, this is our thing. So, I mean, they can keep reporting on the woman stuff, and they're right. It is shitty. It's absolutely shitty. But to act like the Taliban is what did it, that's been a thing in most of the countries in that general region of the world forever, and still remains so to that day. That's not a Taliban thing. And stopping that was never our goal. So to act like we lost because we didn't get to do that, that's just you misreading the situation. That was never the goal. Getting their country to behave like ours and give the same rights that ours does was never the goal. That was never going to happen.
I think George Bush turned that into his goal. Was it a flawed goal? Yes. Our mission, we should have never went into Iraq. And then our mission should have just been to kill Osama bin Laden.
It was
we should have left Afghanistan, went into Pakistan,
it was a knee-jerk reaction to a country that had just attacked us. So I understand why he wanted to do that.
After Afghanistan.
But that was never really the goal. That might be what he said in speeches to get everybody all riled up and get everybody on his side, and it worked. It got people to join the military. It got him, it got him a ton of support. But that was never really the goal. He was never going to do that. That was never going to happen. That was literally never on the table. The real reason we were there was to kill Osama bin Laden, which we did, and to get the Taliban and Al Qaeda in check, basically, which we have. They keep tabs on them to this day. There's an agreement signed between them and us. A diplomatic solution to that problem was eventually reached. Took time. Probably wasn't the smoothest war or transition ever. Mistakes were absolutely made along the way. But ultimately, we accomplished our goal, even if we didn't do it the exact way we wanted to in the beginning. To call it a loss, it's disingenuous. It's not a loss.
I just think it is somewhat of a disappointment.
Even when it comes,
when we do formalize a government, when you can, I just saw this with what is it, the World Report, and then Afghani women with what's his fucking name, Ashari Ghani, the former president of Afghanistan. Until as soon as we pull out, the Taliban storms Kabul, and then he gets kicked out of office. It's like, well, that was part of the plan too, just the president's term to end abruptly. It's like, when they invaded Kabul, like, that was part of the plan. It's like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah,
like,
that was part of the plan. They wanted Kabul, and we gave it to them. We got what we wanted.
What part of Afghanistan is still part of the Republic of Afghanistan?
I wish I could meet the Queen.
I don't have a map in front of me. I couldn't point at it and tell you. I do know that it's not as cut and dry as the Taliban rule. It's not that simple. It's a little more complicated than that. The Middle East in general is fucking complicated.
And I know that.
Anything you're reading that tries to oversimplify it or pretend like this is what happened and it's super simple, then you should take that with a massive grain of salt, because it's not that simple.
But then you trust the government article without a massive grain of salt?
I'm reading the document that the Taliban signed.
Oh, yeah, did you read the fucking peace agreement Hitler wiped his ass with in 1938?
Yeah, and if they break and if they
that too.
And so far they've kept to the agreement. If they break they have. I'm sorry, they have. You can think whatever you want to think. That's fine. But the reality is they have. That's why we haven't done anything against them. If they break it, then we've got the green light to fucking blast their ass into oblivion, just like we did Hitler. But until they do that, they're good. We'll stay out of their affairs for the most part as long as they abide by said agreement. And so far they are. And as far as the equipment that was left behind, that's not a loss either, as that equipment was then turned into the aid we were supposed to be giving Afghanistan anyway. So instead of bringing all that equipment back and then having to send stuff back over to them, we just left it there and said, here you go. Maybe that wasn't the original plan, but to act like we lost all of that equipment and it's costing us a bunch of money, that's not true either. We weren't going to leave all that equipment there and then still give them more aid later and be like, well, here's some more. No, when they asked for aid, they were like, well, what are you guys sending us? Be like, well, we left a bunch of shit there. Just use that. And that's what happened. So that's not a loss either. That's why I say it's complicated. It's not that simple.
So I say the third line of the article, which says the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan has to enter negotiations with Afghan sides, and then I say they invaded Kabul. Now maybe it's not a joint government. It's not negotiations. They just split the country, which I don't think happened. I think with every news article that has said the Taliban has taken over, not one of them says joint government. Not one of them. There's nothing in this article that says a joint government was established, just that peace talks were to happen. So I'm glad that didn't happen, which is in violation of this article that I'm reading. Agreement for bringing peace to Afghanistan between the Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan, which is not recognized by the United States and is also known as the Taliban, and the United States. When we ask them to negotiate with the Afghani sides. They did not. It broke down, they attacked them.
That seems
And I
like
will
a
agree.
that
Total failure
that
is
seems
not the right word.
that
I will
that,
concede
that doesn't sound right to me. I'm sorry. That seems like a gross oversimplification. Afghanistan and
for a complete withdrawal of foreign forces from timelines in the presence of international witnesses and guarantees.
Yeah, I heard
the
what you read.
announcement in the presence. Oh, okay.
Okay. Afghanistan and this is why this doesn't make sense to me. Afghanistan and the United Nations belong to a number of the same international organizations, including the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank. If you're telling me, so you're telling me that they all signed agreements, and the Taliban wasn't supposed to do all that stuff that they did, and then they did it anyway, and just no one did anything? None of all these organizations and stuff that are supposed to have their back did? We all just turned a blind eye and let them do it after, working so hard to get them to sign the agreement? That sounds right. That sounds right to you? Or do you think maybe it was a little more complicated than that? Maybe some negotiations were reached. Maybe some things got ugly, and maybe they're still negotiating to this day. Maybe it's not over. Or do you think maybe that makes more sense? Because I'm sorry, the likelihood that the United Nations and the United States, that every ally that they have is going to sit by on the sidelines and watch them get taken over after, signing agreements that they wouldn't do that we would all just stand back and watch and do nothing. The likelihood of that happening is like winning the lottery, dude. It didn't happen. Sorry, it didn't happen. That's not the way that went down. Whatever you're reading is grossly oversimplifying it. They did go after, what was the guy's name? Cabal or whatever? Yeah, they did do that. I'm not going to say that the negotiations went smoothly at first, but they haven't done anything since. And they seem to have worked shit out. So clearly, they haven't taken over. Because if they did,
but then
we'd be back there.
But before that, you said none of the parts of the agreement has been broken. And then I said right here, when they're supposed to work with the Afghani sides. And then I read you of the article of the man himself who got deposed in August 15th of 2021, who was president of Afghanistan from 2014 to then.
Here's the thing is you don't know how that happened, though. If you're saying, okay, yeah, he got kicked out and that makes them sound bad. But if the reality was, I don't know if this is the case or not. We weren't there for those negotiations. But how do you know that it was them that broke it? What if the negotiations... Wait. I'm not done. What if the negotiations were, okay, one of the stipulations for us negotiating with you is that...
it's kicked out of power and will invade Kabul.
No, let me fucking finish. What if part of the negotiation...
bullshit.
One of the negotiations were... What if one of the negotiation stipulations was, this guy has to step down, we don't want him in charge. And they refused to have him step down, so they forcefully removed him.
Then that is not a negotiation. That is two terms brought together, and then that is failed. And that fails to do Article 3 of this fucking draft we sent to the Taliban and we signed. Which is null and void to your first point.
If the negotiations,
four things mattered.
I said the negotiations didn't go smoothly at first. But what if that first stipulation was that he stepped down so that we can establish a new government, and that guy refused, and then they removed. These are all ifs that make sense. This guy didn't want to give. This guy did. Yes, they do. This guy didn't want to give up his power. And then they said, okay, well, if you won't give it up, then we'll remove you. Then they removed you. Then they removed him. And then negotiations could continue now that this guy who's blocking the negotiations is out of the fucking way. And I don't know why that's so hard for you to understand. That just happened in our own country. President Trump tried everything he could to not give up his power. He had to be removed. Not in the same way, but yeah. He went kicking and screaming out of that White House. There was no peaceful transfer of power with Trump, and there was no peaceful transfer of power here. It's not unfathomable that when new governments are being formed, that the old one may not want to give up their power. That makes total sense to me.
I'm at a dude. Like that is such gaslighting. Like
It's not gaslighting.
the president flees
par
the
for
palace of
that's-
Kabul.
That's par for the course. That's happened time and time again in history. That anytime you're establishing a new
He says to
government,
avoid the risk of bloody street fighting. It's like, so they're coming in ready for war, and it's like, well, we're supposed to reach a negotiation. It's like, if he were to step down and announce that we're going to set up a parliamentary system, or we have a proposal set up and we will make this happen. Like, none of this ever came out. Like, look that up. Look what proportional government was set up in Afghanistan. I'm not seeing that. But you will see Ashari Ghani left the fucking country after they invaded Kabul, left their palace, said, sorry, boys, didn't want bloodshed to happen. I'm fucking outie.
how does that contradict anything I just said?
If a government was coming together to set up something, if relations were going to be met, I know we've seen some same shit.
Mm-hmm.
When we left South Vietnam, they were going to negotiate, come to favorable terms. That did not happen. The communist North Vietnamese steamrolled the South. They finished them up. We were the only things there holding up the South. We left on fucking helicopters from Saigon. And I mean, we like to say that was a proportional system set up there, We left that government intact, and that was gonna hold up. And we said, we ended the war with Vietnam, and we didn't want any trouble with them, and they wouldn't trouble us. It's like, yeah, they ain't using no fucking planes anymore. I'll tell you that.
That's great. That was a different situation and a different time in history, but that's great. It's not really an apt comparison, but
I think it is an identical comparison.
It is not an identical comparison, not by a long shot.
Two insurgent forces
not an identical
fighting
comparison.
against the United States for their political beliefs, for their religious rights, that we are against, that we fight a guerrilla war, one for 20 years, one from we helped the French take over from, fucking 59 to 74, 75?
Right. So that was a different time. Wars were fought very differently then. And that was not the same diplomatic situation that this is. Not at all. Vietnam never.
So when Chiang Kai-shek went to UN,
Vietnam never
peace talks.
Vietnam never attacked an American city. First of all,
Vietnam sunk an American naval vessel.
Okay, Vietnam never attacked anyone on U.S. soil. That didn't happen. Okay,
hello.
That alone makes it completely fucking different.
Well, welcome.
The
We're
Germans
starting on
never
different.
attacked anyone on U.S. soil, and they declared war on us.
That was also very different. These are all different things. All wars aren't the same. All wars aren't the same. All wars aren't the same. All wars are not the same.
Ozzy, do you think? I gotta ask you.
We fight wars differently now than we did then.
There's a
Show me your
democratic,
money.
Government
Hey
in
Taz.
Afghanistan right
Hey Curtis, show me your money. Dipshit. Sorry, go ahead. Yelling at my chat.
Ozzy, and Waffle too. Like, just some opinion. Maybe I'm not the
Hold
only.
on.
Old enough or sober
Hold
enough
on.
to talk about this.
Hold on, before we get too deep into anything. Waffle, is there a way in Fallout
What?
to tell where my companions are?
Oh,
Because my dog left and
fucking
went.
left.
My dog left and went somewhere, and I can't remember where he went.
what settlement did you find him at?
I thought I found him at this food factory, but he ain't here.
Hold on, let me.
Yeah, I'm playing London, so I don't really have settlements.
Like, yeah,
Hang
Go
on
to,
back in a
like,
sec. Just grabbing my dinner.
go to like some random towns and look around there. That's probably where he went. One of those towns, like civilization.
Yeah, I guess I'm
probably
just gonna
a
keep
good
traveling around
idea.
all the fast travel points then. Okay. I didn't know if there was like an icon on the map or something I could look at to just.
I
tell where it
mean,
was.
honestly, I think you should install a few fucking quality of life mods.
I already this one already struggles to not crash. I'm already like obsessively quick saving because I'm scared the game will crash. So I don't want to throw anything on top of it. I'm just gonna get the.
That's just Fallout 4 in general, dog.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to
Oh,
keep
hey,
it like.
did you update it?
Update what?
So you got to open the thing again, the launcher or whatever, and then you can press update. It will reinstall the whole game.
Oh,
and update it and add.
Update the mod, not Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that.
Have you done it recently?
Okay,
or-
Okay, that's all. I was just curious if there was a way I could see them, so I wouldn't have to keep fast traveling all over the place. But I'll just fast travel all over the place while, Chase yells at Ozzy here.
I'm not yelling. My name is Chase Ozzy. I think we might have met once. I think, well, I guess the opinion wouldn't matter, but Australians fought with us in Afghanistan, so you would have news on that. You think the Taliban government we left? It wasn't even the Taliban government. Let me rephrase this. You think there's a democracy in Afghanistan? That there's two separate regions in Afghanistan? That it is not all controlled by the Taliban? That
No.
there's not a no. What do you think's going on in Afghanistan right now?
Basically a dictatorship.
Holy
The
shit!
Taliban have basically gone in, removed all people's rights. Basically, yeah.
Just like the same shit they did back in the '90s, and
To
then we
some
went
degree,
over, fought them off, and then
we're back to square one.
and we're back to square one. Like, thank you for helping
So
us
the-
in
so
that
the-
war where
So
we killed Osama bin Laden.
So the Taliban just control everything, is what you're saying. There's no part of Afghanistan they don't control. There's no negotiations being had. They got it all
Not that
locked.
I've heard of. Not that I've heard of, but then again, I don't hear everything, so.
I will agree. Honestly, if you got something, I'm willing to change my mind right fucking now, bro. If there's real negotiations.
I don't think you are, if we're being honest. I don't think you
Oh
are.
well, thank you for the opinion piece.
No. I mean, yeah, it's my opinion piece, but no, I don't think you are. I think. I don't think there's anything anyone can show you that's actually going to change your mind. No. You've clearly formed an opinion. You're locked into it, and you're not.
Ozzy,
Open.
is my opinion that the Taliban's in charge of Afghanistan a wrong opinion? That we failed our objective of
I'm not talking
nation
about that.
building?
I'm not talking about that. Your opinion on how we left. Your opinion that we fucked up and we lost.
We fucked up and we lost.
Yep.
That's a world view.
Your opinion that,
Go ask
or
the
more
Chinese and
specific,
the Russians what they
more specifically, we fucked up, we lost, and it's the Democrats' fault. You've picked
Trump
your.
was doing the same thing before he left.
You've
It
picked
probably
your.
would have fucking happened.
You have clearly picked your party line.
I'm telling you
That's-
right now,
that's-
if Trump was
that's
still
obvious.
in there,
Uh huh.
would those service members have died? I don't think so, but I still think
Probably.
the country would
If Trump was still in there, would
to the
more
Taliban.
than the 13 that died have died? That's the bigger question.
Trump was already planning on pulling out anyway,
Yeah.
so
Yes.
these plans were already in place.
But we
before
all saw that
Biden
we pushed
took
it
over.
up 4 months ahead. Like we all saw that we moved it from our plan and then skipped it massively ahead. Like I'm not saying that the Taliban would not have taken over, that was still a failure. It was no matter what president was there.
The idea was, from my understanding,
to stop
is that-
spending money there. Smart.
from my understanding, yeah, Ozzy's right. Trump was going to pull out anyway. But from my understanding, Trump didn't do our relations overseas any fucking favors while he was in office. And he might have made pulling out or, that whole process more difficult for the next guy than if he had just done nothing.
And that might be a fair statement. Very, very much fucking true, yeah.
So it
It
probably
was a tumultuous
so
situation.
it, so it probably had to
anyways.
Yeah, so they just had to pull the trigger on it. It had to happen the way it happened because
I don't
Trump
think-
set those wheels in motion, and he didn't do a very good job of establishing how those wheels were going to turn when he set them in motion. So, and then he just left it
Now,
for
I
the
don't
next
know
guy
if
to
that's
figure
true.
out. Yeah, he is notoriously bad with other countries. Like every meeting he had with them, most hated him. The only ones that didn't were the ones that you would definitely not agree with, the dictators. I think Kim Jong-un liked him. Like, I think that happened. Putin
I
likes him.
think when Trump said, "I will bomb the shit out of North Korea if they try anything," like I don't think that was a good start.
Yeah,
But maybe
none
if
of
they came
none,
around Kim Jong Un tea time.
none
that
of what
could've
he
fucking
said.
lived.
None of what he said internationally looked good for anyone other than the people it shouldn't have looked good to. Kim Jong Un ended up liking him. They did photo ops together. He was the only country to salute him and visit him.
The amount of times he's praised Putin.
Yeah, the amount of times he's praised Putin. Merkel hated him. He pulled us out of the Paris Accords, which every country other than us thought was a terrible idea.
Guys,
All
I'm not
of our-
willing to go into that shit. Like that is totally fair. That is real politics shit. But to say it wasn't a fuck up leaving Afghanistan, like, dude, you just got to say it was. It was a fuck up.
It was a fuck up to it was a fuck up to happen the way it happened, but was it a
Yeah.
fuck up to leave? But I'm not gonna say it was a fuck up to leave in general because it was probably time. We probably should have left sooner. It had to happen, and once he put those wheels in motion, what are you supposed to do? Like, how else should it have happened? Like, it's too late.
Okay.
He set those wheels in motion. Now we have to do
Let's put
something.
it this way. Let's put it this way that is easy to understand. Trump doused the house in kerosene. Biden just turned on the switch.
Yeah,
Who's to
blame
there? The light switch was going to go on anyway. Do you not blame the guy that's actively doused the house in kerosene for causing the fire?
I mean, if it didn't happen the way it happened, then what were we supposed to do? What if you're saying we fucked up? Then what's the right answer? What should have happened, Chase?
Well, we shouldn't have made any accords saying there'd be peace talks with them because that failed, and that's breaking the contract we set.
So don't
We
try
shouldn't
for
have let
diplomacy.
any service member die.
Okay, so don't
There
try.
shouldn't have been diplomacy.
So don't try any diplomacy at all. But also don't
We
let
had a
any people
diplomacy
die.
with the Taliban.
Okay,
But then
so
we said,
don't.
you got to be diplomatic with the groups that are there, and it's like, well,
Okay.
they weren't doing that.
Okay, so I'm confused as to how you don't be diplomatic, but also don't let anyone die? Because if you're not diplomatic, the alternative is fight. So
Like that's an extreme, gross simplification.
Yeah, so the answer was don't be diplomatic, fight, but also fight so well that no more than 13 people die. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. You really thought this through.
Like I said, like Ozzy, like if we're talking about presidents, like that is something that ain't gonna hold up. Trump ain't got a good track record, and Biden ain't got a good one either. Like Biden pushed the shit forward, but Trump was already pushing that shit on him. So it's like, did Biden flip the switch 10 times instead of just once? Sure, but
I think a more apt analogy is Trump pushed the cart down the hill. And then when Biden took over, there's a runaway cart going down the hill. You can't stop it, but maybe you can steer it into not doing, the maximum amount of damage. Maybe you can keep it from running into a public place. Maybe you can steer it into a tree instead. That was the position he was left in, was I got to take this runaway cart and try to steer it to the safest place possible. I can't stop it from crashing somewhere, but I just have to pick where. That's the boat he was in.
Like, do you think if Biden allowed the extra 4 months that he cut off to push the shit out immediately, that we would have got more equipment? There were no infantry deaths in, the past 2 years that Trump was in there before that happened? No deaths in Afghanistan for 2 years there.
Yeah, we were at about a stalemate. But the minute you decide to do
peace talks,
but the minute you decide to do something, which he did,
the minute
now
you
stuff
start
has to happen.
pulling out
Yeah,
equipment,
now stuff has to happen.
So you start pulling out the equipment you need to use to defend, and you're saying that's going to work out.
Yeah,
we got bases in Pakistan and the United Arab Emirates. We could have still had air power over there. We could have defended airspaces and depots.
So
if American soldiers didn't get blown the fuck up by a suicide bomber running away instead of actual combat.
What he's saying is, you created a vulnerability, so you can't be mad that it got hit. If you got a house,
I think I'm mad that the vulnerability happened.
What should have happened then? That's what I'm saying, is what should have happened. Should we have stayed there?
Definitely.
I don't know how. Honestly, kind of yes. Like, I think, was it not good? Sure, but I do think Afghanistan was a lot better than what it was when we went in there.
So what you're saying is, maybe, but it was also a situation that we couldn't maintain forever. It's a strain on us and our taxpayers
we just
to
went
do
around
so.
And killed every single one of those Taliban-y son of a bitches. We could have got it done.
So genocide was the answer.
Mountains.
So genocide was the answer. We should have genocided.
I don't think
all those
genocide counts for a political group. It might count for a religious group or a group of a certain ethnicity.
No, genocide counts for a political group. If someone said we should fucking kill all Republicans because the lawmakers did bad stuff, well, those are still just normal people. They're part of a political group. They're Republicans, but if you kill them all, it's still fucking genocide. Absolutely. Not everyone in the Taliban, in that territory, or under the rule of the Taliban, not every Taliban, not even every Taliban member was anti-American. Or even in favor of the war. Just like every American wasn't in favor of it either. But if your answer was kill them all, let God sort them out, you'd have started a bigger war. That's the worst option. Truth is, he was in a lose-lose situation. We were in a lose-lose situation.
Bullshit. We've got the strongest military on the planet. You can't move in a carrier and the fucking Persian Gulf. You can't move in
If-
more
if you're-
equipment to defend us. Say, I will wipe you off the face of
Right.
the planet.
If your
you try
answer,
anything
if your
again.
answer is genocide, sure, we do have that power.
A
But the
strength
rep,
of-
but
show
the
of brute force while you're
repercu-
leaving.
but the
what you're
repercussions of that
basically-
power are what you're not thinking about.
See, I
So-
said
so
the
what you're-
genocide because every time I said maybe we just put more troops in while we're moving them out, put in more so we can move equipment, move Afghani people that helped us during that war out of there, instead of
I'll
cutting the
agree. We
deadline
should. I'll
short,
agree.
get
That was a
everything out
fuck
of
up.
there.
I'll agree. That was a fuck up. Not helping
So
the
your
Afghanistan
solution-
citizens. Yeah.
I will say right now that I do not believe in the genocide. I think that was just me being pissed. I'm sorry, that wasn't true. That was wrong. Just angry Americans not knowing.
Yeah, nuke 'em all is never the answer.
Nuke them all.
That's how you start World War
Mutually
III.
assured destruction.
Yeah, that's how
They
you
nuke 'em
start.
all, it'd be huge.
That's how you start World War III or a bigger war. Truth
We
is,
should have had more equipment around there, more planes, more shit ready to make a tactical strike if needed.
and I'm
the
sure it was.
Taliban
And look,
started
look,
moving-
look. Truth is, neither one of us really know the ins and outs of this. There may have been reasons that they couldn't just send a bunch of shit over. There are rules of engagement. There's probably a limit on what they can send over, or things that they can do or send that could be seen by other countries outside of Afghanistan that could be seen as an act of aggression. There are definitely rules that we have to follow in that process so that we don't, piss off the UN or accidentally start an international incident. So
I
it's
think
so it's
moving
not that
forward with
simple.
The deal was already a sign of good faith. If the UN wanted to be angry about a movement of military personnel and aircraft ready in case of a Taliban retaliation before we get out of there, I don't think that would have been a problem because it is a trade for an overall win for the Taliban. Like, I just don't think that hold up. Like I said, not blow them all to fucking smithereens, but if they attack someone, take out that position, keep on moving. Like, not 13 Americans died to a suicide bomber. Like, that wasn't the way to go.
And it was my understanding that the suicide bomber that even did the attack wasn't like he acted on his own. He wasn't like part of their military. That was just a crazy guy.
We need the numbers.
The Taliban didn't send a suicide bomber. A suicide bomber acted alone because he was pissed at the situation. Which, I mean, we live in a country where mass shooters act alone because they're pissed at politicians, so that doesn't seem too hard to believe for me. It could happen.
I know.
And if that's the
Every
truth,
time
and that's
I
what
try
happened,
to
which is what I
bridge a gap, agree a little bit, say that yes, maybe something should have happened there, and you've been doing it a little bit too.
I'm doing it a little bit too, but I'm not going. But I'm
gotta
going.
just give a yes sometimes. Like, yes, that was a damn shame.
I'll say yes when I'm.
You just keep on with these ifs. It's like no.
No.
Have you
I
seen
didn't.
their tendencies? It's
Whoa.
all the same.
I didn't say if that time. I said it was my understanding that that's what happened. I think I
Your
remember.
understanding.
I think I remember reading that was their explanation for it, was that this guy acted alone because
I
we
think I
were pissed
remember
because we were
doing
pissed
homework on this shit in school.
because we were pissed at the time, and I do think I remember them saying that well, that guy acted alone. He wasn't one of us, and that's why we didn't attack them. Is that we weren't willing to start a war over one guy. We weren't ready to get one guy into a war, if that's what happened. Now, I wasn't in the Oval Office for those talks. Maybe the Taliban lied and that was their excuse. Maybe that's not what happened. But I think I remember that being their statement. Their explanation for the suicide bomber was that he's not one of us. We didn't send a suicide bomber. That guy acted alone.
But I get my hands dirty enough.
That was their explanation for it. Which is possible.
It is very much possible. Like, there's no like,
Whether or not
it's
it's-
very much possible.
I'll meet you in the middle. Whether or not it's true, I don't fucking know.
And
Yeah, I'm
besides,
not Trump or
But-
Biden. I wasn't there twiddling my thumbs
Yeah.
like, ooh.
Truth
yes,
is
I love
neither.
this.
Truth is neither one
Yeah,
of us know.
yeah.
All we got is the
We weren't
statement.
policymakers, yep.
at the end of the day, it's all hyperbole anyway.
What I believe.
Biden was acting on the best information that he had at the time. It's great for Trump to come out afterwards and say, "Oh yeah, this happened, so I would have done this different."
I mean, I'm not even talking Biden or Trump. What I believe in my many years on this earth and my living through multiple wars and just seeing how this country that we live in function. What I believe that we didn't fight back for a reason. I don't believe for a second that 13 of our soldiers died to a suicide bomber, to a direct attack, and we did nothing. I don't believe that for a second. That's not what America does. We've never done that. Ever.
No, you're completely right. No.
So
I
the
think
fact
there
that
was
we
retaliation, I don't know what was.
So the
I don't
fact
think
that
it was
we
just
so the fact that we didn't go fire and fury and fight back and be like, that's an act of war, motherfucker, and means that maybe that suicide bomber wasn't what it appeared to be at first. Maybe it was a guy that acted alone, or maybe it wasn't what we think it was. What I believe is that our intelligence agencies and our military had good reason for not retaliating. I don't know what that reason is. I know that like I said, I think I remember the statement at the time. I'm just going off memory here, but I think I remember the statement at the time from the Taliban being, he wasn't one of us. That wasn't our guy. That suicide bomber was just a dude.
And basically, to retaliate, you have to commit resources. So you're committing more resources to retaliate to an area that you're trying to pull out and take resources from.
I mean, we got
that
the bombs.
doesn't
That you already bought.
Yeah. You're underestimating American pride there, Ozzy. We absolutely would do that. That I will say America would probably do.
I
is
don't
we
think
would
it
be
was
like,
an
fuck it.
all-out war, but there must have been some sort of strike on a Taliban safe house nearby. I don't think it was.
I don't know.
Like,
maybe
this is war, but-
maybe they got the guy. Maybe that's how it went down.
Yeah.
Maybe their explanation was that guy acted alone, or he was part of a group that's not affiliated with us. We disavow them, and America goes, so we can kill him? And they go, yeah, sure. And then we drone strike them and kill him. Maybe that's how it happened. All I know is
when we asked the Russians about those guys in Syria. You remember that shit?
all
And they're like,
I
"Oh,
know.
our guys."
All I know is that if we didn't go back to war after an act of war, we had a damn good reason. And that's why I don't consider it a fuck up. I feel like we reacted appropriately. Like I said, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what was said or what the reasoning was, but I'm sure it was a good one, because we don't just let shit like that slide.
I will say
That's not how America works.
after we killed Osama bin Laden in Pakistan, we should have wrapped the shit up a lot quicker. I do feel that what we were trying to set up was good for the Afghani people. It obviously didn't hold up. A lot of underlying sentiments there. It's their culture. I do believe there was
There's a guy
too much time
downstairs,
spent,
Jeff.
too much money
Yeah, I
spent.
saw him.
So I won't say an extreme loss. I'll say it was a decent win, because we did go in there. We got Osama bin Laden. We did crush a lot of Taliban. They're there, but none of their leaders that were rising up, none of their lieutenants,
All right.
none of Osama bin Laden's son, they're all wiped out.
Do I blame them for trying? Okay, so we go to Afghanistan to get Osama bin Laden. Then we get our guy. Do I blame them for staying there and being like, hey, long as we're here, why not try to make it better too, so that we can prevent this from happening in the future? Do I blame
almost
them for
feel
that? No,
those
I don't.
are two separate stages, because we had one stage of almost strictly going after the Taliban, clearing Afghanistan. We were chasing Osama, what was it, in 2004 or some shit, and he went into Pakistan.
Yeah,
he
he
didn't
went.
get him till Obama came in.
Yeah, I mean, he was really good at running and hiding, man.
Yeah,
Took time.
you
It
can
took
always
time.
find a good tunnel. Yeah.
It took time, but we got him. And then after we got him, and we'd already established all of that military force over there, well, as
And
long
I
as
liked the
well, as long
nation
as we're
building.
here,
That was good.
yeah. Well, I mean,
But
as
it's
long
just-
as we're here, why don't we try to establish a government here so that we don't have to worry about this happening in the future? That makes sense to me. It makes sense why we would stay.
It did make
and
sense. It
now,
was nice.
Now,
It was the right thing.
with the power of hindsight, knowing what we know now, should we have pulled out then? Yeah, probably. But we didn't know how things would end at the time. I don't blame them for trying, not at all. Like, it's easy to get mad in retrospect and say, we should have never done this and we should never. But at the time, you didn't know. It sounded like a plan that would work and you tried it. That's all you can do. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like mistakes weren't made along the way. Obviously, that's the case.
I think the reason we
But it
stayed
could have
in
went a lot worse.
Afghanistan so long, you remember it was
And
with
who's
Obama, we helped set up the Iraqi government, and then we pulled most of our troops out. I know it was, but then they just fell fucking apart, and Obama got us back in there to help them back up. We still got some boys there today, not much, but
and
we still
who's
do.
and who's to say that if we had pulled out immediately, that there wouldn't have been another attack or something else pop up? Like, I mean, like I said, it's easy with the power of hindsight to say we should have done this or that, but honestly, you don't know how it would have went either way. It went the way it went, and it could have been worse. That's how you should look at it. This, all things considered, could have went a lot worse. It went okay. All things considered. Did it
But
go
do you
as
think the money we spent, the government we built, the Afghani army we spent time funding and training, yes, it could have went a fuck lot worse. That is very true, and I'm glad it didn't. I'm ashamed to say this. I'm glad only 13 Americans died, because it could have been a lot more.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
glad
And
it was
and
only,
training those
like-
people, speaking of training those people, that may probably
I
benefit them in the
know-
future. That alone may save some of their lives or alter the course of history. So-
You're gonna bring up when we trained them against the Soviets.
No, I mean
back in the 90s.
that alone, it's not like we left them defenseless. I mean, sure,
No,
we didn't.
left. We thought they had a capable government, a capable military, but it just
And
The
we
same
left
with the
them,
South, like I said,
and we left them with, soldiers trained by us, trained by the best military on the goddamn planet.
yeah. I think
That I would argue
just
is
think
priceless.
We overestimated the moral strength of the Afghan military we made. I do think a lot of them were sympathizers for the Taliban because they fought against the Soviets back in the 90s, and because this is like some big extension of fighting against, I don't know, just the bigger enemy.
Yeah, it wasn't
Because
as.
it was in there for jihads and their religion.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I'm not saying like, oh, they all want war, but it's like, they weren't really putting their guns up and fighting to, tooth and nail for all this shit.
Yeah, it wasn't as cut and dry as a
Yeah.
lot of the news reports made it sound. Not at all.
So let's. I think we found some common ground. If we could say it in statements, I will say that right now, I take back wholeheartedly what I said about the total failure. Definitely wasn't that. I think that was
Yeah,
gross
that's all I was trying to
misrepresentation.
say. Is that calling it a total
I think-
failure is a fucking exaggeration. It
That
wasn't a total victory either.
it
I
wasn't
never
a
claimed
total
that.
victory.
I never claimed
wouldn't
that.
Say, I'd say there were some wins, but there were some losses. I'd say it's pretty. We killed Osama bin Laden. We crushed a lot of Taliban forces back in the early 2010s. Good shit. We still were doing that in 2018, some shit like that. We killed Osama bin Laden's son. So that was good. But I just do feel that the nation building, the schools we built, the female education was, yes, a lot of that a pipe dream. compared to what it was even fucking 15 years ago there.
I mean, in retrospect, yeah.
Yes. But it was definitely something I think we were all proud of, that, you know, we made a country that would have never agreed with that and gave so many of these people these rights and opportunities, regardless of their ideology and religion.
Oh shit!
But yeah, just it was a shame of how we pulled out, and it was a shame that we had to pull out. We didn't have to.
Yeah,
We did.
I mean, the only point I was trying to make in all of it was that it's never as cut and dry as win or lose, especially in wars this complicated.
Racist white redneck says Biden caused Afghanistan's failure. Watch me shit on him. That'll be good.
Yeah, because that's the way a lot of people treat it, is this, you know, oh, well,
No, and I
we lost or we
definitely wanna
won.
say
Like, it's
that.
always a win or lose thing. There's no, like, so many people just ignore the fact that there's nuance, and there were little victories, there were little losses. Overall, could have been worse. Yeah, but when you try to explain that to them, it's no, they fucked up, and yeah, like that annoys the fuck out of me, because I'm like, is your mind really so fucking simple that you don't understand that this shit's
Are you a
complicated?
fucking dunce?
Yeah, but there are God, what's the quote? I'm trying to remember who said the quote. So basically the quote was that the American government is a government built by the people, for the people, and of the people. But the people are retarded.
I was about to say Thomas Jefferson, but not that last.
Yeah, but then the last part is, but the people are retarded.
Retarded. Oh man, that is true. That is sadly true. Common sense ain't that common.
This is true.
Honestly, so I gotta know, you know, Australians have helped us in every war we went against, from Vietnam to Afghanistan to Iraq. In our next one that we start, are you gonna be there to help us?
Also, don't forget World War II. We were there
And
as
World-
well.
yeah.
Yeah, he was there in World War II.
And the first one too.
World
This is
War
true.
II and Battle of the Pacific.
Yeah, we were working together in Guadalcanal. Yeah.
What Chase is trying to say is that
You're
when
getting
we
dragged
pulled,
into another war.
what Chase is trying to say is that when we pulled out of Afghanistan and 13 of our soldiers died, you guys should have stepped in and you dropped the ball. Okay, that's what he
Couldn't have said
said.
it better.
Glad we can
I
depend on you.
just feel it was the Australians' job to defend those Americans as they turned
If I
their
could
back
say it
to
in,
leave.
if I could say it in your native tongue, you bunch of cunts.
Oh man.
So what you're saying is, we as Australians should have shown you how to do a Gallipoli out of.
I don't want to see another
that's-
Gallipoli.
I don't even know what that is. No one knows.
Oh,
I'm retarded. I'm retarded.
But I'm not talking about the entrance into Gallipoli. I'm talking about the pulling out of Gallipoli.
oh, yep. That was
Yep.
Did you see the movie Gallipoli with Mel Gibson? It's about
Oh, yeah.
Australians. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Ah, yes.
Australia
Australian's golden
pulled-
boy, Mel Gibson.
Australia pulled out of Gallipoli without a single casualty.
Well, that's what you guys should have done. Once we left and we fucked up, you guys should have stepped in and been like, "Hey, mate, I'll show you how this is done," and then just moved in and cleaned house.
Yeah, you should have gave them the pennant stare and told
But
them
you
they were
did-
going to the land down
But you
under.
did. But you did nothing. You did nothing. Now mistakes were made. Now we all gotta live with that.
And the only reason we actually got into the fuck up that was Gallipoli was because of a British admiral.
Winston Churchill.
Oh, I was gonna say, if you're gonna blame America, son, we're about to have a problem.
No,
Wasn't Gallipoli before we even joined the war, or was it
World War One. Yeah,
1916?
Yeah. That was,
World War One.
it's a long time ago.
They were actually supposed to put the Australian troops in a couple hundred k's up the coast where they did, but the British commander was like, "Nope, this is good. Let's just put them in here and put them onto a bloody cliff face."
Yep. I'm sorry that because of their stupid decision, you didn't get that good holding in the. What is it? Turkey? Yeah.
Hey,
In
you
Turkey,
know,
yeah.
you live and learn. Well, I mean, they didn't,
Yep.
but the rest of us will learn.
Looking back with hindsight, it didn't look good, but back then probably looked great. Rocky cliff face. Plenty of places to hide, nowhere to run.
What happened is they had all just seen the movie 300, and they were like,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Oh yeah.
Their egos got a little
Yeah,
big.
only thing is, the Turks were actually the Spartans in that situation. they already had the policemen set up.
Who was Xerxes? Who was it?
Mustafa Kemal. Oh wait, no, that's the Spartans. That would be Leonidas.
Xerxes was the British commander
Yeah.
that sent the Australians into
With
that
all the
hellhole.
crazy jewelry.
Probably.
Just bags of tea hanging from his ears.
Great, I can't unsee that. Oh,
This is Gallipoli.
well, this has been fun, but you're still gonna vote Kamala, right?
I don't know. I was like, can I say I really hate anything about Kamala? No, it was all Biden. So it definitely seems more favorable now for Kamala. But I was going to vote for Trump if it was Biden-Trump. That was what I was going to do.
Yeah,
but
well,
I really don't know. It's
but
I'll
Biden
have
has
to
stepped
see.
down. Well,
I do think we need to get a check on the border, and I know Kamala's talked about doing a couple things. I don't know if it'll be enough.
I mean, that's the thing that's got me.
I check on the border. Like that thing that Biden and the Democrats actually hashed out with the
that Trump blocked.
Republicans, and actually that Trump actually blocked because he wanted to run on it as a campaign issue.
Yeah.
That border thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Was Trump in office then?
Yes.
No, but this was when Biden. But Trump actually told.
Oh, yeah. You mean the
the
second time? Because he did it
speaker.
Well, he did it once while he was in office. He shot down one thing while they were in office. They rewrote it, and they basically gave them everything they wanted. And then, Biden's in office. Biden was going to sign it, and Trump talked to all the Republicans in his party and said, "Don't sign that. I need that to run on so I can get elected."
That's fucking crazy.
And then they didn't sign it.
Really?
Yeah. That's how that happened.
No
Yeah.
shit. Well, I know partisanship is very strong nowadays.
Yeah, so that's how that happened. Is they basically got everything they wanted, and then still didn't sign it because Trump needed that talking point to win. So
Trump wanted the talking point as an election issue.
yeah, so if
he
you're
didn't want to give Biden the win.
so basically, if you're voting based on like what we're going to do to the border, it doesn't that's not even a talking point anymore. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which one gets elected. That bill's just waiting to be signed, and it's going to be signed by whichever one gets hired. It doesn't matter. So
Are we going to be building more wall, or what's the bill doing? Is it just
the problem's not the wall. Okay, so the real issue with the border is not people coming illegally. That's a myth. The real problem
It's
is
the folks with visa.
No.
but it,
no, it's
No?
asylum seekers. So the thing the bill would do, because right now you can walk up to the border, claim asylum, and immediately get put into the asylum seeking process, which gives you a place to stay and blah 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 while you wait for that process. But that process is overloaded with too many people. So there's no need to cross illegally. You can get into America legally right now by just claiming asylum. Now, you won't get to go live and, be a citizen. You'll have to go through the process, but you'll be here. And you'll have a place to stay and probably a job to do. The problem with the asylum process right now is there's no cap on the number of people per year who can claim asylum. So everyone can just do it. The thing that
And
Bill
there's
was
also
going to
not
do...
enough people- and there's also not enough people actually processing.
Well,
claim.
there's too many to process because there's just tons of them showing up all the time, and there's no cap on the number that can claim asylum. So the main thing that bill would do is put a cap on asylum seekers per year at 5,000.
So that is all the bill was going.
No,
Why would they not do that?
No.
that's not all it would do, but that's the
also
main
does-
thing. That's the
It
main
does
thing.
that. It also funds for more.
Yeah, it funds for more people to
be
process the
employed.
requests, so we can either send them back or get them processed. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the bill, but the major change is that it puts a cap on the number of asylum seekers per year. Right now, there's no cap, which is why there aren't that many. Like, if you look at the number of people who are crossing illegally, it's actually at an all-time low. And the reason that is because they have no reason to cross illegally. They can just say, I'm here for asylum, and they'll be let in.
See, that is just. I feel like. I'm sorry.
Also, for your whole, the illegals are crossing the border and blah blah blah. The bill also was funding more people to do patrols.
Yeah.
To prevent that.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
it does a lot
That's
of...
also in the bill.
Yeah, it does a lot of things. The major change is the cap on asylum seekers, because right now that's the big loophole. That's how they're getting in. That's why there's a problem. The problem is that they've discovered that loophole exists, and they've started talking to each other. Now that's all anyone does is come to the border, claim asylum. If they claim asylum, they get let in, and they get put into the asylum process. And we're running out of places to put the asylum seekers, and with no cap on it, we can't turn them away, so they just keep letting them in. The cap would make it so that only 5,000 per year can claim asylum. After that, we don't let anybody else in. So that's like the biggest
number. Yeah.
That's the thing that would stop the most border crossings on the entire thing. I mean, yeah, there's more border security, there's more people to process, there's a lot of other stuff in the bill too, but that's the big major one. And that's why he stopped it, because he needs those caravans, he needs all of that. He needs all of that stuff.
There must have been
For his
something
campaign
the
ads.
Republicans would have bullshitted about. There's nothing. No. God, that is just retarded.
Yeah,
nothing
I don't.
in there
I
like
don't, I don't think you
Not
understand. I don't
This-
think you
this-
understand
this
the
was
cult-like grip Trump has on that entire party right now.
The guy who actually wrote the bill is a Republican.
Yeah, and it was
He's
written by a
conservative
Republican.
It was
The
written.
bills are joint, but it was pushed in mostly. Okay, what the fuck? Did they add another path for citizenship? That could have shot it down. I'm just rattling off.
I mean, there's
I
a
have
lot of
no
stuff.
idea.
I haven't gone through the whole thing. I just remember like the big
Dude.
changes, and that was one of the big changes was that, that it would
As
that
I
it
said,
would
it
cap
was
the asylum
basically-
seekers.
I believe that after illegal immigrants in here for 15 years in the United States, I think they need to back pay taxes. They didn't, but I do think they should be able to register as a citizen. If they've been here that long, like this is their home now, and I feel like that might have been something in the bill Republicans would have shot down. I don't know why.
maybe.
I think that's
I mean,
reasonable.
Like I said, I hadn't read the
And
whole
then
thing.
there's this, and then there's this whole stupid thing. Right-wing nut jobs have come out with that the illegal immigrants are getting welfare.
Yeah, that's not.
They
that's
can't
not a
get
thing.
welfare.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
That's not a thing. You can't get welfare without being registered with the government.
Yeah, that's
The
not a
whole
thing.
thing with illegals are they're not registered with the government, so they can't get welfare.
Ain't that a shame? Doo doo, doo doo. Oh, Beldo Rain.
Yeah, there's a lot of like
but then again,
fear mongering
it's just-
around it, and it's really,
Yeah.
it's really like that's really a non-issue because whoever gets elected next will just sign that bill and it'll be taken care of. Like it's already in the works.
Well,
The
I would
real
like
thing
to
you should be
see,
asking is what are their other policies? Like what else are they doing? And
These
Trump,
are my wish list.
Trump
of
doesn't
things.
have not a wish list. Like you need to look at the two candidates and say, well, what policies are they running on? Trump has border and nothing else. Like there are no other policies. Like what else is he going to do other than the thing that's already guaranteed to begin with? What else is he going to do? He hasn't talked about a singular fucking thing else. Nothing. He hasn't mentioned one other policy. All of his speeches and rallies are just that. They're pep rallies with the same talking points over and over. Kamala actually at least does have like policies and plans and things that she wants to do. At least so at least you know that that's on the table, that she's trying to do something. Trump isn't trying to do anything. Or at least isn't claiming to.